Hello, storytellers. Storytelling Run. I'm working on the Dark Ages rulebook for the Kickstarter, and I've got it pretty much done. But I'm going to run through some stuff that I've enjoyed doing here and have added to the rulebook because I realize too we need, as a Christian role playing game, it's a whole new ground, whole new area, evangelism and church planning. And I'm also kind of creating my own market, right? Because it's kind of tough to sell this against all the paganism and non-Christian type of role-playing games where they don't want your religion in the game, but they want paganism in the game. So thusly, I've got to like start with giving you guys, especially I'm assuming like completely new people, Christians who want a role-playing game, who are intrigued by D&D and all these other role-playing games, but no, they can't do them because because they don't want Christianity in it. And they certainly do not allow for those type of rules either. The main rules of all RPGs is basically go to the village, find out what the problem is, be the hero, kill, defeat the bad guy, get the reward, get the experience points, and start over again. But in real life, in medieval history and in real history, in church history, it is go to the village, find out they are worshiping the bad guy, the dragon, the beast, whatever. You got to deal with them, converting them, planting the church, and then defeating the bad guy, dragon, whatever, getting the treasure, I guess, or whatever the reward is. But the main reward is financing the church, planting the church, converting the people, dealing with that issue. And that's actually what the whole Dark Ages to medieval history to Renaissance to the Age of Reason, Industrial Revolution, all that stuff, that all has to do with the church, the success of the church, planting the church, building the paganism into a civilized church culture. And we've forgotten that, we've ignored that, we're whatever. So I'm going off again. Okay, so here's me trying to now bring in stuff for new Christians who are playing a role-playing game and giving them the tools, you guys the tools to be grand ministers, GMs, game masters. One here, and it's under reference social stuff, but it's also in the book too. In the back of the book, I put in a lot of like sort of handy dandy reference stuff that I would want to use immediately, either in the game or like say for making stuff. And one of them is, what if you have say a caravan or an encounter with people outside of the town or in the town, whatever, it can be anywhere. Who would these people be? Now, this also gives you a sense of like what kind of things there are going on, and I've tried to like generalize and put down the basics of what people would be like in that period. Fisherman, butcher, tanner, armor, leather, stonemason, and a little description of what kind of stuff they would have around them at the time. Woodcutter, logger, coal maker, that's a big one. Winemaker, farmer, ackerman, which is stocks like horses, mules, donkeys, that kind of thing. And weaponsmith, arbalist, bowyer. Arbalist is crossbow, I think. Yeah. And bowyer is archery, cutler, bowyer, cutler. I don't know what the heck that is. Bow makers, crossbows. Okay. Wheelwright, carpenter, cart repair, armor, blacksmith. And these are things that like could help the players as well, right? Anyway, so you get the idea of that. So that's one aspect. That's the professionalist. Now, mainly though, you want to roll this one for the beginning because you want to know. Let's just say we encounter a group, and who are they? Okay, so let me roll a d12. This is a small group, right, along the road, and this is like you already decide they're not bandits. Well, I rolled really high. I rolled an 11, so that's a profession, owner, or integral member. Use list. Okay, so here we are. I got to roll d20 now. A d20, 6. Winemaker. Ooh, wow! So you have a winemaker coming along the road. They got their cart, their barrels. They're probably delivering wine. That's kind of cool. Let me get their name. I'm gonna do and then these two charts I can just use one. I'm gonna do the second chart. Let me go ahead and roll 3 d20s because it's basically, and I'm gonna give him 3 syllables of a name because it's a winemaker. It sounds kind of like so 15, 2, and a 16. 15, Sig, 2, Signod, 16. Signodbert. Signodbert is the delivering wine in his cart along the road so they can encounter him. There you go. Why do I have this here? Thematics pageantry of paganism die rank. This is not necessarily tied in with this. This is tied in with the whole story, but I think I just put it there because I could fit it there. But you could use it to give a sort of a theme to the individual and what kind of paganism they have. So that's probably what I did there. Let me roll a d12. 9. Deities, idols, pantheon. So this person will have a sort of a pagan respect for deities and idols. I might take this out of there because I don't know if this is what I need there for this. This is, so this is a good way of me of proofreading and editing, because I'm still going through an editing process right now. And I'm trying to actually sit back from the Dark Ages rulebook so that I can have it come back at it with a fresh mind to do that, and then get some others to look at it as well. So I'm going through that process right now. But I might have to remove that because it doesn't really fit with this. But obviously it's references, so I'm trying to fit in everything I can into that area. Anyway, another chart to help you out here is the conversion level of this winemaker. So let's make this winemaker. This is going to be a little scary because it could go 1 through 8. So 1 is really bad. 2, oh gosh, manipulative evil. So this is a really bad winemaker. Yeah, maybe they're taking wine to the temple for the idol, right? The pantheon. There you go. And they are very resistant. They're very manipulative evil. Ooh, there's an adventure right there. Wow. I think I'm going to keep this in here. But just have a little explanation. Let me go ahead and leave that there for now. But that's kind of interesting. Okay. So that's that kind of you can do that kind of an encounter along the road. So Signad, I forgot the name already. Signadbert is a wine, I would say delivering wine to the temples. And that's pretty, and he's a cutthroat, very, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the other, what I was actually going to make this video about. But that's a way of making individuals, and you can make them outside the town or outside of the plot, or they're just another NPC plot that you can add to it. All right, but another thing that I have that I've included here is the village and part of town activity. So I say part of town because you're not going to do the whole city. You want to do a little chunk and where the missionary is going to go into that part of the town and deal with that little area if it's a big town, which I haven't really done myself yet. Most of it has been the whole village. Anyway, let's do some rolls here. I'm going to just roll a d12 and say that it could be a town, it could be a village part, it could be anything. And let's say they're going to a town. I'm going to roll an 8 is the craftsman crafted goods. So the town's focus is on craftsman crafted goods. So they have those type of shops. So these little buildings over here, I'd probably put a few of them around in this area, as that's what it's mainly, and then not so much of the country meal stuff. There would be more of these type of things that they, in that, whatever, if that's the thing, if you're trying to build out an area that they have to go to and convert. So there's that sort of ploy. Let's just kind of go with that. Let's just say I place some of these down, right? Workshop row, craft shop duo, craft shop single, witch hut. There'd be a witch hut in there. They got to go deal with a person who's a witch in that craftsman area. The craftsman's guild, the crafts row, or the shopping area, that area. I'm gonna go ahead and roll each of these just to give me a sense of what the different shops might be, just for the fun of it. Just to come up with some ideas here, a flavor. Oil maker, lamplight, rope maker. So one of those is going to be workshop row operations, is I think this guy right here. Oh, I'm sorry, all 3 of those. There's an oil maker, a lamplight, and a rope maker, all in this, doing their thing in this building here. Okay, so let's do the duo. I'm going to keep it simple with just these rolls. Let me roll d6. 2, witch hut and shaman doctor. Okay, so we've got a witch hut, shaman doctor, and this one is another witch. Let's just go ahead and do it. Single. Now it could 4. Vengeance, curse maker. Wow, there you go. Craft shop single. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me roll here, and then before I go to this one, I should somehow craft shop single. This is the witch hut is supposed to be off of that one, like a sub. I should make a note of that somehow. Let me do a line. that's not really going to work, but or it's not just visually, it's not going to look that great. But let me just do it to remind myself, and maybe I can do something with it at some point, or just leave it as is if it's simple enough, like that. But I know I want to make it so that you get it. Okay, anyway, let me just do this for now, and hopefully I'll come back to it if I remember. Okay, let me roll that again. I'm going to roll it again. This is the craft shop single operations. I rolled a 6. Wow. Witch hut, but real dark evil thing going on inside, or rather under. Rather under. There you go. And I did write Vengeance Curse Maker. There you go. So there's a witch here underneath. She's got a dungeon, basement, cellar, curse maker. So how does she do curses? Poisons? She could do it through that. She could do it through hiring hooligans. They meet there. Probably both. She makes the poisons, hires the hooligans to go and do the curses, which are vengeance, right? Pagans go to witches to get vengeance on their enemies, especially like their business enemies or whatever. So there's that operation going on, right? Whew. Okay, let's say there's an inn nearby. They should always have an inn nearby. So here we are, inn. Obviously, an inn is an inn, but let's roll for the plots of that inn. All right, a D8. Man, I'm already scared. 4. An apostate of a local cult is hiding out. Others have surrounded the building. Ooh. Now, the missionaries going here don't necessarily know what's going on, right? And they don't even know that that's a thing, but that's a thing. So they'll probably see some people outside that look creepy, and they don't know why. They're not coming after the missionaries. They're coming after this individual. And that individual may see the missionaries and say, oh, I need your help. So there's a storyline right there. There's a plot right there. And I would suggest, too, that once you use one of these, you kind of mentally mark it off so you don't use it again against the same people, right? Same group or whatever. Or change it in a good way, in a dramatic way, so that's a little different. So right there is your little thing that you could do concerning a section of town if you wanted to make an adventure, and that's right there. You can already tell there's an adventure right there. And the church is there, like almost like inquisitors trying to figure out what's going on and who's where and what and who's hiding what, blah blah blah. You could also make this witch hut a front for some other business and just roll. And you could do it on the workshop here and choose one, or what or it could be that the witch does a little bit of both, so that she has this front, that she actually is just a scrivener here, but then she or he or whoever is actually running a vengeance operation. So you could do that kind of thing. So that's a cool little investigative town adventure right there. I could add, which might be fun, there'll be always a chance for a beast or demonic thing or whatever in this thing here. I mean, obviously you can see here, witch, sorcerer, hut, local pagan leader. Obviously this one that I did, witch hut, but real dark evil thing going on inside, rather under, is, I can certainly add something scarier if I wanted to, like she sends out a demon or a ghost or a spirit. And it also depends too on the level of your characters. If it's just like a family friendly thing, with kids and stuff, you probably want to do just bad guys, poison and bad guys. But if it's like veteran old guys, grizzled RPGers, you could go for a demon or something, just to give them to have a little more nostalgic fun with it in that pagan-y way. But anyway, let's say they go out to a farm outside of the town that they got to go see about, or they stop here before they go into town or whatever, or they're traveling through. So let's just roll that. That's a D10. I'm going to go ahead and use an authentic D10 die. 6. It's a barber, surgeon, physician, mansion, garden, home. So it's kind of a rich, lovely place. Probably someone who's made their money in town and has now bought this old place out here. So that could be a wonderful little just meeting with this person and talk. And let me roll their conversion level, and we're going to find out some real stuff here. Ooh, 8. So they are Christian or very, as soon as the missionaries come, they welcome them, they help, they're going to help them. They're going to probably give them gifts. Like I would have them roll social skills with the surgeon or preaching, whichever one they want to do. And if they roll really high, he offers them some gifts, some +1 or 2 die rank, food they can take with them, like a bottle of wine or something like that. Whatever I think the physician might have he can offer them. Maybe he has an old sword that he doesn't use, and it's an old gladiator sword he collected, and it's a +2 die ranker. Cool, super sharp. You could do mysterious, kind of awesome, and we can do magic weapons in this magic items. But think of it this way: they're well crafted, ancient Roman technology, or some blacksmith device. And this is true too. Even today, many I've been studying in my layman's way about armor and weapons and stuff, and there's always like these like methods and secrets of old medieval armorers and blacksmiths that did something that we can't replicate today, and it's so amazing what they did, etc. That kind of a concept for magic items like armor and weapons can be here, where some Roman or Christian, and I know it's funny, I heard about it's a documentary on Netflix or something about, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was about a Viking who made an amazing sword, and he was Christian, but he made this sword that was so sharp and powerful, or he was a sword maker who made the best swords. And it's somewhere on Netflix, I think. Anyway, I get information from so many places, but so there's that. You can totally have those type of items in your that can be offered up, that someone might have. So let me go to the countryside farmstead. So let's say they got to go out somewhere else, and maybe the pagan plot is outside somewhere, so you could plop down a farmstead out there and see what they are. So let me roll that real quick. D10. 3. Tavern or inn proprietor, additional farm supplies, garden, work, home. So it's that makes sense. A multi-use sort of farm that is also a tavern or inn or both, and they can come there and visit. Now let's check the conversion level. They could be a secret hideout for brigands or the pagans. 7. Oh, okay. So it's probably a legit, nice, and very open, and likes Christians. So obviously 7 is a really good number. So that'll be a wonderful visit too. And again, if the missionaries do some really good roles, they could probably get some gifts and support from them, convert them. I don't know if they need to plant a church there, because it's going to be a small thing. It would not be suitable for a church, but these would come and support a church, perhaps, in that they do plant, giving them an extra glory point or whatever, just for this support. So that could certainly be a thing. All right, let's try the tribal village remote. Somewhere out there in the remote swamp, marshlands, forests of Central Europe and Dark Ages, or Northern Italy, Southern Germanic, Austrian area, Switzerland area. Let's roll a d10. This is 4. Banditry, criminal elements. Okay, but still conversion level. However, since it's banditry, criminal element, I'm going to roll 2d8s and pick the lowest. They could still be good, like as in like a rebellious type group, or a rebellion, or trying to fight a king or local oppressive duke. So they could be good, but generally speaking, they're going to be bad. And I don't mean bad like evil. They could just be bad in a very mistrusting, downtrodden way, ready for a conversion as well. But obviously, it's all that it's going to be generally, on average, bad, right? Wow. I rolled a 7 and an 8. So, see? So, this tribal village hidden out are Christians. And they're rebelling against the paganism all around them. So, there you go. See? So, something you and I, as GMs, would not really think about. And so, I'm sort of forcing with these rolls, with the conversion level, that sort of thing. But, again, I did 2d8, pick the lowest, and... So this rare little Christian village, I'm going to say they're actual Christians, and they have, like pilgrims who fled the town or city or the paganism that was all around them, and started their own little commune here. And so they take in the word greedily, happily, readily from the missionaries. They get a glory point. They can rest there. The church they're essentially a church, the village, the place. I would get some inspired diet. I wouldn't give them any kind of items really, except maybe some rations and stuff. But breakfast was coming up. I wouldn't give them any items or like anything spectacular, unless they were like a nat 20 for their preaching or their social, to try to see what they can get out of them. But yeah, that's a good little respite place of respite, rest, whatever. Shrine. All right, let's roll a shrine. They come across a shrine, a monument or something. out there in the middle of somewhere. So let's roll a d12. Not 6. Elves, dwarves, gnomes, giants, trolls, for spirit totems offering. So what's funny is real paganism, elves, dwarves, gnomes, giants, trolls, they're very like evil spirits. You have to appease them, otherwise they're going to torture you, destroy your property, ruin your crops, that kind of thing. So they definitely have these spirit totems where they go and put offerings down. So so there's that. Now, are there actual elves, dwarves, gnomes, giants, trolls in my game? There are actual giants and trolls and ogres, which are giant humans, basically NBA players, whatever, and NFL players, what, 6'8", 6'7" tall, very ostracized, pushed out of society, so they live in their own primitive, angry, remote places. So that's the kind of giants that I have in basically. They are convertible, but I'm very yikes. I don't think I want them to be, in the sense of, we got our own pet giant, or we got our own giant ally, and that's gonna like mess up my game totally if they do that. That's gonna break the game. Okay, not going up 100 glory points and playing 60 episodes, but actually having a giant as their friend is gonna break the game. Okay, so that's so I would make the giants always just so evil and violent and not savable. I know it's kind of weird. Can giants go to heaven too? But I can't. I just can't have them. I can't have this giant. I guess it'd be cool to have a giant who becomes part of the church and guards the church. So yeah, in the end you can have that. So I would allow them to, let's say, if they did convert the giant, I would make it very hard, like almost impossible. And if they fail, the giant's just going to attack them. So, to the death, kind of thing. But I would make it so that if they did convert a giant, the giant would just serve a local church. Wouldn't want to travel or go anywhere, and too dangerous to. Anyway, so it'd be that, and they get a glory point just specifically for that. Getting that giant to support a church. But even then, the church would probably not want this giant around too much. Anyway, elves and dwarves obviously don't exist, but humans who dress as elves, who look like dwarves, short, squat, the Huns were always considered sort of ogres or trolls, but they could certainly have pagans who look like them or who are diminutive just genetically, and you can certainly have that kind of thing if you wanted. Okay, so that was my long ramble on that. Very remote local yokels. All right, so if they go out somewhere in the marshes or whatever, and this is not necessarily meant to be these are kind of meant to be like not part of the main plot, but you wanting to add a little more to the the map, the things they can encounter other than just the main plot of something. You want to fill in areas of the map that make sense to you. So very remote local yokels. Let me roll. I'm missing a number here. I've only got 5. It's weird. I always make it so that it's diceable. All right, I know a 6 is going to be abandoned, haunted, criminal, criminal abode, criminal hideout. So there's the 6. I'm surprised I didn't have a 6 there. Okay, let me put some D12 for this one. This one's a D10. All right, let me do the remote local yokels. D6. 3. Part of pagan activities, openly but neutral, helpful. So, yeah, you can, they're going to be doing fishing, hunting, whatever, but they have their pagan totem up or their trinkets up. They're not, whatever to the missionaries, but the missionaries obviously want to evangelize them. So there's a fair, I'm going to roll a conversion level. So it's kind of even there, 1 through 8. 8. Wow. We're like a bunch of Christians all around here. 8. So that's what it is. They're part of pagan activity. So what does that mean? That means that they do whatever for the pagan stuff, but as soon as you come and tell them, they're going to like, yeah, we're joining you. That kind of thing. They're ready to, Um, so that's an interesting little, just silly little fun little. Oh well, we just got some allies, and now you got to deal with the pagans, and they'll probably give you really good information on the pagans and what's going on. So there's that. So those are just parts. Okay. And those are, if you use this map as your whole campaign, you can fit those in anywhere in little spots. And obviously the town ones would have them be in the actual towns. You could create a little area where they generally will frequent, and that would be those buildings up here and that little story and plot line. And obviously you can have different parts of the town have different little plots and storylines and stuff. And I'm hoping to add those to my adventure campaign book, which I'm working on now. I'm going to use this to fit. I have a lot of story already done because I play tested for over a year now with about 30 people through this area, and I have all that, but I'm going to fill it out using this inside those towns. I'm going to make these towns even bigger and better than what I started with. So, and more buildings and stuff like that. I really want to give you guys a lot because we need it. We need it for a Christian RPG. Okay, I'm going to do a real quick. I've talked a lot longer than I thought I would before I even got to the pagan hex crawl. So there you go. I'm going to go ahead and do this though. I'm going to do a really quick. I'm going to do a D8 diary. Like you're kind of a GM who's played with your players a few times, and they've sort of solved those little mini campaigns you've already done, and now you're going to start them on a new one. And let's say okay, they're over here. They're going to head into San Vingo, and I know it's all about this werewolf cult. But I'm going to say they just come into this area. Any sort of thing I come up with will have to have a wolf name, but they're coming into San Vingo, in this sort of up the valley here. Let's say they had some fun little adventures here with the marshes and the boar beasts and the beastmen, whatever. You had some fun there and just did some random stuff. Took a break from the evangelism and let them do some combat and fighting and nostalgic. Was it oh my god, murder hobos? But I'm sure it's funny, the characters the Christians playing now, they do have a lot of combat, but they always look for that denouement roll to get the enemy to surrender and then converting them. So and I do, and I convert the beastmen or whatever. They have a potential, still that potential there, even though there's a lot of combat. So anyway, let's say they're going to San Vigo. Let's keep that in mind. I mean, I'm kind of keeping that as a vague thing. Okay, so let me roll a D8. Who knows what the main... And this is going to be like part of the town, right? 6. Part of the town or area. A witch who serves locals is nearby. So this is like on the outskirts of town. She's a witch who I'm going to say has the wolf theme to her. A witch who serves locals is nearby. Okay, so then we got that. Let me roll a D8 now for the motive of this witch. 6. Finding power, seeks black magic. Kind of gone, knows their power is evil now. Okay, so she's very evil. She could be one that's creating a lot of their wolf warriors, like getting people to convert to wolfism, to lycanthropy. But let's move on. Let's keep building this up. Yow! Dice one. 5. Pure malice. Pure malice. That's the modus operandi. Woo! The desire for violence, death, destruction, especially by their followers, and end in ritualistic sacrifice. Pure chaotic evil. Well, okay, we're getting there. Location, and that is also a D8 for the 4. Local farmstead, taken or allied. So either way, doesn't really matter because it's taken. Probably through intimidation. Okay, let's roll on the established location feel. 1. Generally small, nomadic, temporary setup, recently situated, disorganized, and chaotic, supplies and resources lacking, with members out and about. Okay, so she's taken over the farm, but it's recent, and I'm going to say she's taken it over, and whoever was there has been killed. Their bodies are probably still there. So that's bad. Ooh, extent of setup 7, so enhanced. Walls, guarded tower, entrance hall, rituals. So what does that mean? Shrines, guards, priests, slaves. Okay, so let me roll. I'm gonna mix or make it work with the generally small nomadic temporary setup. I'm gonna make it work in my own way, right? And you interpret it the way you want. I rolled a 4. Sewer, farmstead. It could be a sewer that runs into the town, the city, That's probably why she grabbed it, and it's an outlet to the waterway. So like yeah, that's kind of interesting. So if it's just temporarily taken up, but she's got a lot of warriors, makeshift guards, slaves, zealots. That's fine. I mean, that'll work. But it's and so since it's generally small, nomadic, temporary setup, I'm going to say that it's sort of chaotic and disorganized, and so there's a chance of sneaking in, or if they have to attack this place, there's going to be a sort of disorganized response to it, kind of thing. Okay, let me go through the enforcers of the leader. I roll a d8. That's a die rank. 2. Local goons, weak minions who act tough and are generally paid or offered, usually cheap and tawdry. Okay, so that makes sense to me. And so she's turning them into wolf men, but she's not like part of the elite wolf culture there. She's like her own little side thing. And that's the thing about witches too that is well known, documented in pagan histories, that they were generally, if they were accused of being witches, they were generally people who were outside the system, because witchcraft was actually illegal for pagans. And the reason it was illegal is because the leaders, the dukes and the Caesars and the local Romans didn't like them, because they were manipulative and saying, love potions, which are rape potions or rape drugs or whatever, and then whatever else. And so the leaders actually, even though they were pagan themselves, made witchcraft illegal because they didn't like these individuals starting up these other cults. They had a state religion, right? A state magician, a state sorcerer, a state advisor to the leaders, but they did not want these witches out there doing their own thing, and that's what this is. That's what she is. So that's the way I'm going to do that. So yeah, that's a pretty Let's do an enhancement here. D12. So that's not a die rank, it's just a D12. 11. Ooh. Richly guard. Oh, I did this on the last one. I'm gonna reroll it because I did it for the last one. I don't want to do it for this one. It doesn't make sense for this one. Anyways. 9. Unholy pagan symbol banner flag used as bonus for command, morale, influence. Usually intricate with added accoutrements, trinkets, and garlands. Okay, so she probably has something that, like a wolf thing, body banner with a wolf head. They all worship this wolf head. Blah blah blah. That kind of thing. That's part of her thing. Now, if that gets destroyed, that's going to probably reduce the morale of the goons that follow her. See, so there we go. We got something pretty cool. I mean, let me add a little more. That's pretty much the pagan activity. She's starting her own little wolf gang, bandit army with wearing the wolf stuff, and it's not yet like the town and the actual elite wolf sorcerer with the real wolfmen has not taken notice of her, because she just has little goons, and it's temporary and it's recent. But that's part of the story anyway. So let me roll here. Side quests and flavor. D12. 6. There's an ancient site no one will go to. There we go. Real plot. D6. 4. It is bearing false witness, and locals or main plot is causing it, blaming it, hiding it, or plotting to take advantage of it. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I'd fit it in somehow. I'm trying to think of like the other stuff, which I shouldn't be doing, which is like the further, part of the story, which is the main plot. Let me focus on just the witch with her thing. It could be that ancient site no one will go to. It could be that sewer, right? She wants to keep it like that because she's planning on using it to sneak into town and attack or take it. And it's like an old Roman sewer, because the Romans were the prodigious architects. So I'm going to say that. And it's haunted, or don't go to this farmstead, it's haunted, or she haunts the land with her goons. Additional flavor. D12. 8. Add a traveling troupe, bards, and boy, I rolled that one again. Let me do another one. I rolled that one last time. Add a merchant and wagon of trifle things. Okay, so you can, and that is the winemaker that I rolled earlier. There we go. The winemaker taking the wine into town for the Superior Wolf clan or whatever. All right, curse table. 7. The weather is strange, darker, longer lasting. Fog, mist. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Possibilities. 1. A fluke, a coincidence that will end shortly if left to run its course. Well, yeah. I'm going to keep it longer. Okay, what else? Descriptive themes of paganism in area. Okay, so this is like the thing I had earlier, but let me go ahead and do this one. 8. Demigods, defiant heroes, the stories, giants. So I'm gonna do the wolf thing. The whole the heroic wolf. The end of the world will be by the wolf god. I have to figure out. I'd probably look for the wolf names in German, and do that sort of thing. German wolf, and I would look up German words like, and I know ich kann Deutsch sprechen, but only like a 1-year-old. I learned it in high school. Aber warum I don't use it anymore. Ich weiß nichts. I don't know. I can speak German, but why? I don't know. Anyway, family-friendly paganism. And I don't know what wolf is in German. I think it's Wolf. I think. I can't remember. Totenwolf, the death wolf. I don't know. Some kind of god like that. Okay, family-friendly paganism. So this is a role where it just kind of gives you a more flavor of what her paganism looks like. I'm using the die rank thing. A 6 animal sacrifice, cruelty to animals will pervade amongst their shrines and altars. Wolves. Undoubtedly, cruelty and sadism will pervade amongst them, especially the leaders and zealots. So they will hunt and collect the wolves, and then turn them into their wolf outfits. So there's that. And there you go. There's your scary, creepy thing. I would add now, you can add in some monsters. So I would add in a scary wolf that I don't know if they worship, but it's a very dangerous wolf. So I wouldn't say it's not. I could have rolled, I think, some potential for animals, and I didn't. So I'm going to keep that out of their hands. But there's definitely wolves in the area that are very strong and primordial. So I'm going to have that sort of thing that's around just for the fun of it. I'm going to have them fighting a big scary wolf, I think, at some point. I can't see anything else right now. More adventure ideas. The reason I don't roll this one is these are just kind of unique things that, you could. I just have it as extra stuff there to use. So that's it. I don't worry about the conversion level of that right now. I could do the goons. Let me do the goons that follow her. So I'm going to do 2d8. Pick the lowest. 2. Okay, so they're manipulative evil. So they won't just come out right on attack, but they're definitely going to, threaten and blah, blah, blah. And ready to attack if all goes well for them. And they get a +4 die rank resistance. Okay, so there you go. I just come up with another little section now for the San Vigo area. Like, I still want to do a main one, which I would have more, I think, control over the main plot as opposed to rolling it out. Although I might want to roll it out, but I there's certain things that, when you get enough ideas that you can just create your own thing, obviously, right? But this is just to help you create sort of extra little things, or just to help you start if you just as a new GM or whatever. But again, you roll all these out and you got to extrapolate them out in your own way to figure that out. So yeah, okay. So that's just another little Babylon of us Christians being game masters, being grand ministers, and creating our foothold into the RPG culture as Christians, right? We're going to start planting our flags in there and do evangelism, church planning, starting fellowships, and turn it into a ministry. That's what I hope that Christians who love RPGs will take this and make a fellowship and a ministry out of it. And I think any Christian game designer is probably wishing that. So steal my idea: evangelism and church planning in your games. Okay. All right. And the game of life. Roll holy